since we have a new baseball coach, and I wasn't going to ask him to introduce Pat Boyle, but since I was here, and probably the oldest guy around still here other than Dr. Fusco, I'm going to introduce Pat, and I will note that Pat is also the kind of the senior member of this class. The 2004 grad, if you can think somebody who's only been out of college 15 years is old. But Pat's a little bit different than some of the others in this. Pat was recruited at a time when our athletics department was going through a transition from NAIA to NCAA Division II to NCAA Division III. Pretty difficult time in some respects, and so in Pat's first 2 seasons, we were not eligible, the college was not eligible for PAC championships and so forth. But the schedule included some Division III teams, some Division II teams, and some NAIA teams. Several of the Titan teams were eligible to compete, though, in the ECAC, Eastern Collegiate Athletic Conference. And Pat was on a couple of teams who did that. And they made the playoffs in his rookie season, and he was named an ECAC D2 Division II All-Star following his sophomore season, when he was also named the Titans team MVP. Eligible for PAC championships in Pat's junior year, the Titans finished 3rd in the PAC that year, and Pat was named an All-PAC first team as a pitcher. Pat noted that his sophomore season, when his time on the mound for the Titans resulted in 11 wins, 111 strikeouts, and saw him ranked among the nation's leaders in NCAA Division II in earned run average and strikeouts per 9 innings as the highlight of his baseball career at Westminster. I spoke to former Titan baseball coach Carmen Nacera, and he said it was an honor and a pleasure to coach Pat, and that Westminster was extremely fortunate to have a pitcher of his caliber. Your program notes that Titan baseball teams during Pat's career had an 84-56 record, and I would add that that is perhaps one of the best 4-year stretches of the Titan baseball history. Pat graduated from Westminster with a degree in business administration. Today he's the owner of Fresh Coat Painters in Cranberry Township, where he makes his home with his wife Leah and children Gino and Elena. Ladies and gentlemen, inducted into the Titan Sports Hall of Fame for his accomplishments in baseball, Patrick Boyle, Jr.
Thanks, Coach Daffler. A little nervous here, so sorry about that. I want to say congrats to the others getting inducted today as well. From the looks of it, Coach stole my little thing here. I was going to say I've been nominated from the senior committee. But honestly, this is pretty awesome to be up here. Something I've been thinking about for a few years, so it's pretty cool. Thanks everyone who came to support me tonight. Leah, Gino, I love you guys, my parents, brother, his family, my in-laws, Craig, thanks for coming. What an awesome feeling it is. When Coach Daffler a couple months ago, it was pretty awesome to be called. Unexpected, meant the world to me, but like I said, I was secretly hoping this would possibly happen for a couple years now. Pretty cool timing too now, because this first year we've been spending some baseball, a lot of time in the field with my son, spring, summer, spent a lot of time this year, so it made it really neat. Awesome seeing the pure love of the game he is showing right now. And baseball has just been a huge part of my life for my family as I was growing up. It was always baseball. There was a sign in my house that was hanging and it read, "We interrupt this marriage, bring you the baseball season." If we had vacations or anything else going on, we always planned it around the season, always late in the year, so we wouldn't miss any games. I know there was one year when my brother was playing, we were calling out late for a vacation, and they left, went to the game, came back, so we always cut the trip short to make sure we didn't miss anything. I want to recognize my parents and all their sacrifices they made to make baseball stay alive for us. Now, at my age, realizing that even when money was low, we were always able to have equipment, spikes, everything we needed to be able to play. My dad always coached in our local system, even at a time without his kids being there. He would work midnight shift and still be at the field to run a practice early on in the morning. Countless days and hours were spent working with us, whether at home or the fields, and even ended up with a broken toe from one of my curveballs that dropped a little short. I don't think they missed any of my games growing up through high school or college. I know there was a couple summers we played wooden bat league, and used to drive in the car for hours on a Saturday or Sunday to get to the game. Also lucky enough to have support from a lot of relatives that came as well. Hoping I get the same commitment to my kids growing up, whatever they choose. I was also lucky enough to have an older brother who accepted me being around him and his friends to help me try to keep up with the older kids. I was able to be a bat boy early on, try to show up my arm to the older kids. growing up, we were always doing something with baseball. Out front, making up games, just pretending we were different major leaguers. We also played in the front of the house, whether it was rubber ball, tennis balls. Apparently we hit the neighbor's house a little bit too much, the older lady. She was very smart though. Instead of yelling at us, she baked us a batch of cookies and we never hit her house again the rest of our lives. I always remember when I was 9 years old, our league was 9 and 10 years old kids. First year where kids pitched instead of coaches. I was on a new team and new kids that coaches didn't know, so I always wanted to be a pitcher and was worried the coach wouldn't know this. I would make my dad bring me to the field early for practice and we'd get there before the coach. He'd get behind the plate so I could practice pitching in, so the coach would see me when he pulled in and hope that he would notice that I wanted to be a pitcher. I've always loved this game. There's just something about it. A big part of baseball, and I believe the pitching position really is a mental game. Sometimes battling against your own mindset can make a difference. This position, like many other sports, I'm sure, can be a great life lesson. There are many ups and downs, sometimes minutes apart, sometimes games apart. But that was also part of the excitement. Part of the Head Game leads a book I read once about pitchers doing the weirdest things. It was simply a bunch of small stories about different major league pitchers and their weird superstitions. Craig could probably attest to some of these on me, but I know for any game, on the way to the game, I listen to the same song every time, every game, same routine the night before. I'd even put my left sock on before my right in the locker room, just in case it made a difference. Between the innings, I would always sit in the same spot on the bench, wouldn't talk to anyone else. People probably didn't like that, but the parents even got into it. They would stop at the same gas station on home games, bring me a Gatorade. It was always a lemon lime flavored bag of seeds. People thought I was crazy, I'm sure. Senior year in high school, I was undecided on where I was going to go to college up until the last minute. I did visit with some of the current freshmen on the baseball team that year. They really made me feel at home and helped make that decision for me. Westminster was a great school to be at. The school made it very easy to transition to a new life with people that I'd never met before. Baseball was also a great way to make new friends and make that adjustment smooth. Freshman year, we were starting the transition from D2 to D3, so it was a little different for us. We were an extremely young team with only 3 seniors and 0 juniors on our team. We were pretty much all underclassmen for 2 years. We were young and dumb, but we had fun, great chemistry, and some good success together. My sophomore year is the one I'll never forget playing here. I really got extremely lucky to have been put in a situation to have the year that I had with the records. It seemed like every time that it was supposed to be my day off, we would get rained out, and the game would get pushed back, and I was able to throw again. Everyone needs a little luck. I hope to teach my children, though, that hard work does pay off. Without hard work, luck will never come your way. All the days practicing, working out, etc. does make a difference. I don't think there was a day growing up that I wasn't throwing the ball, throwing tennis balls off the steps of our house, throwing rocks off trees, whatever I could find to work on throwing the ball. I'm hoping to instill in my children that if you want something, you have to go out and get it. No one's going to hand it to you. And you know, Wayne, if you're actually listening, that doesn't mean steal anything. It means just work your butt off to get what others want. And there's a cop up here, so. Michael Jordan had a quote that said, "Some people want it to happen, some wish it would happen, and others make it happen." Westminster was very good to me. I love my time here at baseball and just at the school in general. Made a lot of good friends during my time here and created a ton of memories. There's a group of us that just finished our 18th or 19th year doing fantasy football draft together. The school really prepared me to jump in the job in the real world, and later quit a corporate job to start my own franchise business, which is now in the 7th year. Thank you to the school, Coach Daffler for hosting me here today, and former coaches Sean Kelly, Carmen Sarah, teammates. New coach Pat, thanks for reaching out to me. It's great to meet you. This day has been an awesome time for me and something I'll cherish forever. Thank you.